What's up, everybody? Brian and Brennen back here, and it's time to do another mock draft. It's getting close, and it's July. It's been too long, so let's get this thing rolling. Oh, what's up, everybody? We are back. Too much fantasy football here on Fantasy Football Advice Network. It's Brian, it's Brennan, it's mock draft time. What's up, man? You ready to get your ass kicked? I mean, how are we doing tonight? Sorry.
I'm doing wonderful. I love the confidence in beating me in a mock draft. It just warms my soul.
Well, it's so obvious we can know who wins this right by the end of the draft. You know, there's no
Exactly.
way that we get anything wrong past mid-July right here.
Yeah, clearly it's just whoever says the most projected points wins, right? Just like how in best ball.
100%. 100%. That's why I take 5 quarterbacks in every best ball draft. That's key to win. I don't think anybody's picked up on the strategy yet, but it's right there. We got a little bit of news. We are scraping the bottom of the barrel here just to put anything together to say news. But talking about that Chargers backfield, huh? We finally know who the lead guy is. Who's going to be? Come on. Break that news to everybody.
Daniel Popper of the Athletics sees Gus Edwards the clear lead back for the Chargers and predicts the current running back depth chart to follow as Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Kimani Vidal, Isaiah Spiller, Elijah Dotson, and Jarrett Patterson as the number 6. So, but yeah, as we all expected, it would be Gus Edwards, who's very familiar with the role.
Just to give you just a little bit more of the vote of confidence there. Looking at the backfield, it has to be him. But like, this is an older guy. He's tore his ACL. He's tore other things. We've never really seen him be the lead guy on purpose. So, I mean, we're going to get into the mock draft here in a second, but like ADP right around like Brian Robinson, Tajay Spears behind Devin Singletary, Jaylen Warren. I know that there's the lovers for Warren, but like that just seems so far back for a guy that should be in line for 12 plus touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm higher than him than most, I would say. Like I have him higher than all those guys. Like I think I have him right behind Tony Pollard, who's like where my cutoff line is for most. Like he's in that Zach Moss-esque area. I just think, like you said, I think he'll probably finish the year closer to 1,000 yards rushing, but like with double-digit touchdowns, but like maybe like 15 receptions. So I think he'll just be like a decent RB2.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be a guy that pisses you off. There's going to be a few games where he gets 18 carries, 44 yards, and that's it. And it's not gonna help your team. But when you're drafting this guy as an RB3-ish, maybe RB4, depending on your lineup, it's gonna be a great piece to have there in the flex to give you a touchdown or two, any given week. What else do we have on the news? It was so exciting, it just left my brain so quickly.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers have said they're going to use Chris Godwin more in the slot this season. He notes that it will be the same role Cooper Kupp had with the Rams when current Bucs OC was there. Godwin's currently at a mid 7th round ADP.
How many dudes are in the Cooper Kupp realm right now? I feel like there's like 8 teams playing off the Sean McVay tree where we keep hearing this. Oh, it's the Cooper Kupp roll. It's the Cooper Kupp roll. Don't worry. Now I'm not shitting on it. I'm excited. I'm very excited for Chris Godwin. I think we can get back to what we saw, pre ACL tear. Not quite those numbers, but expecting to see him, leading in targets nearly. So. I just think it's a funny thing you hear often. Just it's all about that Cooper Kupp roll, man.
Yeah, everyone's chasing the next Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown leader.
Yeah. Not Puka Nacua who did it most recently at a younger age, but it's the older guy. Did we have anything else? I'm looking here.
Yeah, dude. Cam Akers is back with the Vikings.
There it is. Popped in the time machine, went back to 2021. When was he relevant? It's been a while.
I think when he was drafted the year 2020. So like that would be the last time under Sean McVay, and then unfortunately tore his Achilles right before the season, and it just spiraled downward.
Poor fella. What a career. Him or J.K. Dobbins, who's had the worst career?
I mean, I would say it'd be Cam Akers when you tear your Achilles twice. I mean, that's just awful.
Oh man, poor guy. Oh well. If I could give one of mine, I would. Like, I'm so worried I'm going to tear mine. Like, if I could just get rid of it and take away that fear. All right. Well, you ready to get to this draft? I'm ready to kick your ass, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Can't wait.
All right, we are here. It's draft time. We're going about. We're doing Superflex this time. Brennan, you want to walk us through what the roster looks like tonight?
Yeah, so Superflex typically involves having two quarterbacks for obvious reasons, but our rosters is it's a 12 team, one solidified quarterback, two running back, two wide receiver, one tight end, three flex, and then followed by five bench spots.
So yeah, tonight on the mock draft, I'm going to be drafting from the 10 spot. This guy over here will be on the 4 spot. So if he wins, it's clearly because he got the 4 and I got the 10. But I'm still going to
Yes.
win. Locked in here. Actually, fuck. Let me go back in the settings one more time. I'm going to take off time limit
Okay,
just so that doesn't fuck with us. All right. Well, you ready to kick this thing off?
I am.
All right, let's go. Whoop whoop. So Superflex, CMC going first off the board. That just, I mean, my home league, it happens. My home league, it happens. So weirder things happen in drafts, so we'll rock with it.
Yeah, typically I would say for most super flex leagues, usually the first 6 picks are quarterbacks, and then it goes to like the ideal whatever, your preference of Chris McCaffrey or Tyreek, but they went Chris McCaffrey, Mahomes, Allen. Um, for me in my rankings, it's pretty easy. I'm taking Jaylen Hurts here. I'm not really contemplating anybody else. The only one I really would contemplate would be, do I want to wait for quarterbacks or do I want to get this train going now? And I think I'm just going to take Jaylen Hurts and just see what comes to me in the second round.
I think that's kind of the easy way to go. You could contemplate CMC or CD Lamb, but at the end of the day, I think the first 5 picks, maybe even 6 picks, 5 for sure, are very locked in, and I wouldn't fault anybody for taking any of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, or not CJ Stroud. He is not a part of that list for me. But looking at the board, we had 3 wide receivers go. I'm going to have 4 picks between me and the turn. And I'm going to take my quarterback. I think this guy is part of the tier 1 for me. Here at the back of the first, I might flirt with it and wait till the second round, but I'm not going to play any games here. I'm going to take Anthony Richardson here in the first round.
Boo. He said it's supposed to come to me in the second round part of these
No.
rankings.
We're not playing that game. We did see Team 11 go back-to-back skill player with Jefferson and Hall, Burrow there on the end. It's hard not to take Bijan right here. Puka Nacua and A.J. Brown are very high up for me as far as tiered wide receivers, but Bijan, I don't see much of a difference between him and Brees Hall or CMC this year. So I'm going to go ahead and lock up my running back position here.
Oh, I'm hurt.
There goes Kyler.
Yeah,
Kyler was in contention, but
that's who I really wanted, man.
I
I'm
bet
so
you
upset.
did.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like grinning because it said it to me. Okay, so the top guys on my board here are Dak, Garrett Wilson, there's Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, another quarterback who I probably can get in the later rounds, but I mean, I really would rather want to start stacking up my other positions because I do have an elite 1 of 1 for quarterback, and I don't, it's okay to do that for super flex leagues to go back-to-back quarterbacks just so you don't have to worry about it. But you still leave yourself thin in the running backs or the wide receivers, and you're kind of chasing there. And obviously, we saw all the injuries happen to quarterbacks that could be really dicey. I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. I want to solidify my wide receiver 1 and then go from there.
So let me ask you, say you picked up Dak right there at 2-9. How soon would you pick up a third quarterback outside of a ridiculous slide? Or
Just
we're
depending on
waiting.
ADP. Yeah, I think really obviously at rounds 10, 11, you're starting to get into the, Aiden O'Connell area, Drake May. And I think if I did that, that's I'd want a really big upside guy, like a Drake May, who I think would probably start halfway through. Another guy would be a cheaper option, would be a Jacoby Brissett, just as he's going to start. For how many games, you don't know, but at least he's a starter. So that's probably be my option, probably around round 10.
Gotcha. All right, well, we're here at 3-4. Travis Kelce, first tight end, went off. Where you at? getting that second
I
quarterback?
am. Yeah, so the quarterbacks that I see here are Brock Purdy. There's Tua. There's another guy, and I think Caleb Williams. But I think I do want to start to build the rest of my roster. I think this guy's left on my board, and he's probably the highest ranked out of everybody here. It's Olave. So I'll have the two young guys from Ohio State along with Jaylen Hurts as my starting.
I like that nice little Ohio State cluster with Marvin Harrison right next to you two guys too.
There you go.
Well, I want to grab wide receiver. I've kind of gone running back early, clearly, even in the super flex. So I'm kind of going to go that hero RB approach. Hopefully, not touch that running back position for a bit. Drake London, Brandon Ayuk are right there. We do have some quarterback options. A handful of other running backs. I think I'm going to. Yeah, these two are in a tier above the rest of these wide receivers for me. My heart says Drake London. I'm so excited for that. And like all the gray clouds over Brandon Ayuk, he's still gonna be great. Maybe not quite the phenomenal year metrically that he had last year, but he's still gonna have a great year. But I'm gonna take Drake London. I just can't not. It's so much fun. So excited for the
So do you
Falcons
not
this
care
year.
that you own both Bijan and Drake London?
Not until you just said that, and I was
I
like,
wasn't. I was like, you know what? Nope, this is my opponent. He was talking all that crap, but I'm going to let him look like a fool.
trade pieces. I'm looking at trade pieces. They've got a great start
Man.
to the season. I could flip Bijan or Drake London after week one, easy peasy. With
Hey,
that being
Brian, this
said, I
isn't
might have
best
taken
ball. I
Ayuk
mean,
there.
you can take Kirk Cousins now too.
It's fucking yeah. Honestly, that's what it is. I'm pretty sure the Falcons and the Colts have some sort of postseason correlation or like a mutual correlation piece.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
ignore that, folks. That's why you gotta be on your shit, focused in, locked in. Coming back though, Jared Goff sitting there, Michael Pittman, not what I would call difference makers here, and the quarterback position with two QB, you want a difference maker. You want that guy that can just go all out. So I'm gonna grab the cheap Anthony Richardson, the young guy, the young runner, and we're gonna go Jaden Daniels.
You. That's who I was going to take over Olave too. I was so debating it. I was like,
I was like, if he lets him go, there's no way I'm letting it go back to him. There is
oh
no way I'm
man.
letting that. All right, we got to start bringing others in for this mock. We know each other a little too well. I
Oh,
think.
that's so terrible.
So locked up my second
Oh.
quarterback position. I have two guys that, hey, they are just an injury away from being knocked out, but these guys can just unload with their legs, so I don't need them to throw the ball well.
Yeah, so folks, so basically that was like my QB tiers was literally it's Trevor Lawrence, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, two are all like guys I could see finish hiding. Jared Goff, I think, is a very solid quarterback. Um, I I can take him here. There's other guys that I'm looking at like DJ Moore. I like Jalen Waddle a lot. I do like some of the tight ends here. I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to be stuck with like Derek Carr as my QB2. I think Goff is a really fine option. So I'm going to take Jared Goff.
There's Kirk Cousins sitting right there, and he's going to have an elite team. You won't get the pieces of part of that elite team.
Oh, man, that's terrible. All right. So after Jared Goff goes, it's DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Stephon Achan, Trey McBride, Rashad White, Nico Collins, and I'm on the clock here. And I'm between the actually top three guys here, Waddle, Mark Andrews, and Kincaid, but I have Waddle like significantly higher than the rest of these two. So I think it's a pretty easy smash, and I'm just going to load up on all the young wide receiver talent here.
Oh, man, there they go. Those wide receivers are
Yep.
sliding. Damn. All right. So we had a good amount of players go right in front of me that I wanted. So what do we do in these situations, folks? We cannot tilt. Got to stand straight, no wobble in here. Yeah, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid. I was really hoping those two would fall to me because clearly I cannot take Kyle Pitts, even though him and Kirk Cousins are right there. No, I think this is another tier break for me at wide receiver. It's actually four of them that I like here, but Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf, and Amari Cooper. I'm fine with all of these guys. Honestly, there's a chance that I might even be able to double tap these guys. I'm going to go Devonta Smith. I'm really excited for Philly's offense this year. I think they're going to have a. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. We played the gamble and it won. DK Metcalf came back to me. I think we're going to smack this button real quick. Taking the number one up there. Geno Smith, the touchdowns just did not fall for him last year, but the guy was pretty accurate. I was looking at some numbers there. He was one of the better throwers last year when you really break down his inaccurate or his incomplete passes. Not as many of them were as inaccurate as they were incomplete. So I'm excited for that offense. I'm going to double tap wide receiver here to add to my rounds it out. Looks like a pretty good score of 3.
I'll acknowledge it's a good pick. I like DK this year. He's definitely higher on my board than some of the other guys like Cooper Kupp, Zay Flowers. So I think it's a steal in my opinion. And I think with them getting grubbed from the University of Washington, a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, and they have 3 very good wide receivers. I think DK is going to do well, and I think the other 2 will do just fine as well. So it's a good spot to get DK, especially where he went.
Look at Team 9. That's some running back power there.
Yeah, that is. They just take all the running backs and, hoping one of those is going to fall to me. So I am in need of a running back here, but I don't want to necessarily reach for one. I do like some of the other guys here. I do like Evan Ingram. I think he's going to be just a solid tight end, and I do need to fill that position. There's Kirk Cousins. I really don't want to have a third quarterback. I think it's a little too early to fill out the bench when I have other flex spots to fill out, since this is, a 3 flex. Sorry, so I have to be mindful of that. I think I am going to go Evan Ingram. I've talked myself into it. I think he's going to be a solid guy I can start. Don't have to worry about it. After Evan Ingram,
round 7, 0 RB approach.
That's right. It'll all pan out. It all works out. All right. So George Pickens, T. Higgins, Kirk Cousins, Christian Kirk, George Kittle, Terry McLaurin, and I think I'm going to take the highest running back I have on my board, which is Ramondre Stevenson. I think he is going to be just fine. Got a nice little contract, and is going to be getting all those dump targets from Jacoby Brissett for the first 4 weeks.
Actually, yeah, he might thrive. I mean, he probably will thrive more with Brissett over Drake May. Just Drake May, he's not the best runner, but he can move a little bit.
He can,
and
yeah.
A few hundred yards isn't going to be impossible. So I'd actually consider Deshaun Watson here. Like I said, I do have. I'm not going to call them fragile quarterbacks, but these guys are going to be out there running. Young guys, very. Well, I guess Jaden Daniels has played it quite a bit more than Anthony Richardson has, but there's question marks with these fellas. So I wouldn't mind grabbing that third running back or third quarterback here in the next round or 2. But what are we looking at? Oh man, we're flirting with a couple. I'm gonna take Najee here. I know David Montgomery is sitting there, but I don't know. I've got a feeling. I guess I want to get burned for the 3rd time, 3rd year in a row. Watch Najee just hurt me, but I'm gonna go there. David Njoku is questionable for me as well. Grab it because I think this is a tier break for tight end, a pretty good one too. Jake Ferguson, I'm middle. Where are you at on Ferguson? Do you think he's going to give us that top 8, top 9 tight end, or is he going to be just a really good streaming guy and give you a tight end 12 finish?
He's so typically Njoku's that breaking point where I think of I think these are the solid I think 8 or 9 guys like with him, Kittle or whatever, and I think Ferguson's right behind Njoku. I think he will still be a tight end 1 when the year is over. I think he'll finish closer to probably tight end. I think his ceiling is probably 6, but I think he'll be a floor of 10 to 12 in the tight end rankings when it's all said and done.
So I think I just wish his price was a round or 2 later than it is. I feel like you're paying for him to be almost started every week, and I don't know if he's going to be a guy that you can confidently start each week. He might be in a rotational piece for you. But I did end up going Rashee Rice. I'm feeling more and more confident that he will miss little to no time. I'm trying to take advantage of the price while it's still where it's at because it's moving closer to the expensive side.
Yes, it is. Everyone is starting to figure out that Rashee Rice might not be suspended this season. It's a big possibility. So More to come. Probably we'll find out more around like August time. They'll probably make their decision, but just keep your eyes out on that, folks. So after you take Rashee Rice, we went Chris Godwin, Will Levis, Jaden Reed, Hollywood, and David Njoku, and I am up. And there is now this is where it starts to get interesting with quarterbacks because now you're looking at JJ McCarthy, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, who I would just so love to start every week, But I think for me, again, I still need to fill out these flex option spots, and I think the more power I have there, the better. And I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley. I'm going to chase the money from Tennessee. Oh, man. Oh, thank goodness he took Eckler. I was really sweating that one out. So after I take Ridley, Zamir White goes, Jordan Addison, Xavier Worthy, Jonathan Brooks, Lad McConkey, and Austin Eckler. I still need to fill out my RB2 spot, and I'm looking at a couple of guys here. Javonte Williams, Tony Pollard. There's Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, and I think the downfall is a little too much for Raheem Mostert. I think he's not going to get 23 touchdowns, but I definitely think he can get double digits again. I mean, so I am going to take Raheem Mostert here if my computer will let me, and it did.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to give you approval for it or not. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No problem. Damn, I was hoping Brock Bowers would fall to me. Jake Ferguson's still sitting there. And he's going to sit there a little bit longer. I think we're going to move past him. We are. Where do we want to grab? Oh, shit. If there's not an on-brand pick right there, I don't know what is. Oh, shoot. All right. Running back. I don't know who I was hoping would fall to me, but I'm not a huge fan of what's sitting here. Tajay Spears is there, but damn if that's not just boring as hell because I feel like I only take him. So I'm going to take Geno Smith. Looking at the turn, both guys do have two quarterbacks, but I'm going to go ahead and grab him because I do it's a bit of a tier break for me as well right here. Derek Carr, Bryce Young, Drake May. Yeah, I'm going to take Geno. I do have DK as well, so I feel pretty comfortable with my quarterback position. Maybe I'll grab somebody at the very end of the draft, depending on how deep this is, but I think I'll be good. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, we're doing it. Christian Watson, league winner. League winner in the 10th round. Look at that. Oh, I love it.
If your stock isn't 100% for Christian Watson in best ball, I'm going to be very, very ashamed for you.
It's a problem. I have to control myself and pull back a little bit. It's funny because Deontay Johnson's right by him. So depending on what build I'm looking for, safety floor or huge ceiling, I go those two often, or JSN.
All I have to say is that you better go to his props in the betting market and just slam the over on every single thing. Touchdowns, yards, receptions, everything. Just be like, even if there's games played on there, I'm curious to see if they have that as a bet prop. Oh,
I'm not willing to say what I've hit on him already this year, but there's been some cheddar dropped on Watson, that's for sure.
All right, where you after at? This man takes Watson. Yeah. Zach Moss, Goddard, Keon Coleman, Devin Singletary, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and I'm the clock here. So there is a couple quarterbacks here I can fill out my bench, but I still need to fill out my actual roster itself. I have one flex spot I need to fill out. Some of the guys that kind of stand out to me, we just talked about him on the show. Gus Edwards, I think it's a very viable, whenever Raheem Mostert or Ramondre are on a bye, I can start one of them. Another guy that's standing out too for wide receivers is Brian Thomas. I like him a lot. I think with him being on my bench and I have a lot of other wide receivers, I can kind of play the waiting game with him. I'm trying to think who I have him higher on my board. I think I have Brian Thomas. So I'm going to just take him just so I don't get sniped anywhere else from other guys.
Oh, well,
and of course, I get sniped.
But even better, you can bring us a trio of Bryans, and you can go for Brian Robinson.
I could go for Brian Robinson, and I don't hate it. There's only I'm trying to look at this running back list. There's Brian Robinson, who I think is the bona fide starter there, and there's another guy that I maybe can grab later, probably not, just because of knowing the computers and it's going to snipe me. But I do need to probably have another one just in case, and I'm going to take Brian Robinson.
You back-to-back Bryans. Oh, I'm rubbing off on you. I'm growing on him, folks. I'm growing on him. So after Christian Watson, I'm actually going to give up my 11th and 12th pick because, I mean, I don't need him. I've got Christian Watson, you know. Just kidding. There's a chance he fails here, folks. Let's not put all of our money there. Running or quarterback starting stack up a little bit. Derek Carr, Drake May, Bo Nix should be starter for most of the season. So there's a handful of guys I like there, but like I said, I've got 3, so I'm good. I do need to find my tight end, but it might be. Actually, he might be sitting right there. Luke Musgrave. Tucker Kraft came down with a torn pectoral muscle, I believe it was, back in May. So there's a lot for Musgrave to eat into this year. So I'm excited to see what his role blows into. Running back is what I'm going to go for. I have Najee and Bijan. That's it. Let's pull up these running backs here. Blake Corum. If there's an injury there in LA, he will be filling in. Zach Charbonnet. I'm going to go here, just with the correlation Seattle. I do have quite a bit of that. Kendre Miller, I don't mind at this position. Jalen Wright, if you really want to shoot for the stars. But Zach Charbonnet proved to be very well. He did well in the short amount that he got last year. So I'm excited for him.
I need to stop thinking out loud apparently, because I was like, oh, Jerome Ford and Adonai Mitchell will be really good on my team, and now I can't have either of them.
Here, watch, we can do this. Remove play. No.
Yeah. Please. Yeah, so now I'm kind of looking at, my entire starting roster is filled out, and I'm starting to fill into my bench. So I only have 3 other bench spots. So I can start to look at quarterbacks. The quarterbacks here that I have is, Derek Carr, Bryce Young. There is Russell Wilson. He is the starter. And there's another guy here who gets a bad rap, but at the end of the day, I'm only going to fill him in for hopefully 1 start. And I'm going to go Danny Dimes here. If you guys have been watching the HBO Hard Knocks, it's a great series. I do think that the Giants could be the worst team, but he could also put up ridiculous numbers because that's just what he does. So, and I'm just hoping a prayer for him to be filling in anyways. So after I take him, Xavier Legette goes, Josh Palmer, Gabe Davis, Jahan Dotson, Khalil Shakir, Cade Otton, and now I'm looking at just other fillers here. There's Rashid Shaheed, who I actually really like a lot. There is a cheat code here that I could take. Taysom Hill, he's listed as a tight end and quarterback, and I think they'll start to figure him in more a little bit. So I am going to take Taysom Hill. I think with him being listed as a tight end, it's a little bit of a cheat code. Some leagues don't have it. Some he just has. I know on Underdog he's now just quarterback, but I'd like him as a tight end. So a little bit to flirt with there.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, so my punt tight end position kind of went out the door with that. He was a part of it, but so was Hunter Henry. So I am glad I was able to snag him. Luke Musgrave is probably going to be more of a streaming style. Hopefully you're streaming him more weeks than you aren't. But Hunter Henry, I think, should have a pretty consistent role in that offense, especially early on. Guys we're excited about are there's 2 new rookies that were drafted. Pop Douglas going into his 2nd year, but Jacoby Brissett's going to be back there. He's going to go to tried and true guys. He's going to hit the ones he likes, and tight end. He does favor the tight end just a little bit. So Hunter Henry, I'm very excited for this season. Let me take a look at my team, see where we're at. Wide receiver. I've only got 1 running back. Do I grab one more? Let's grab one more running back. And sitting here, Ty Chandler I like a lot. Marshawn Lloyd I like a lot. Jaleel McLaughlin I don't mind as a dart throw. But we're going to go ahead and take Marshawn Lloyd.
All right.
I've now got 3 Packers, but I'm buying into that offense, and there's a lot of cheaper pieces within the Packers offense. So there's going to be 1 or 2 pieces that you're going to be really excited about. These players that are going to give you week in and week out numbers. I think this team stands a great chance at leading the league in touchdowns, or top 3 at least. So Marshawn Lloyd just jumping in there. I'm excited for this 2-back set.
All right. That's not a bad pick, and hope and a prayer. So after you take him, Ricky Pearsall, Josh Downs, Antonio Gibson, Ty Chandler, Tyler Algier. So my team is very much just I'm going to hopefully pick up running back team, a running back from the waiver wire, and hopefully he fills out. I do like my guys, but they are fringe RB2s, which is fine. My last bench spot, it's really much of a hope and a prayer. I think he is still awful, but I still think there's a legitimate chance that he could lead the team in targets. And it's really gross to say, but it's Quentin Johnston from the Los Angeles
Soundbite.
Chargers.
I'm
Yeah.
grabbing it.
Yeah, you can grab that. It's fine, but there's still a chance, and it's gross to say that.
I don't hate it. Here, let's pull that back up, see what we're looking at as far as the players. Oh, it won't let me look at the players anymore. Come on, sleeper.
There's a couple other guys. Like I think it was like Darnell Mooney, who I really like. I think he's got a pretty much solidified role as a wide receiver too, and a really good offense. So probably take him, but I think the upside is higher for Quentin Johnston than Darnell Mooney. And that if like when it's your last pick, you want to swing for the fences and just imagine in your head like, can this person be as high as he can? And he really can in this instance if he actually just figure it out. And I think Harbaugh's a good coach to kind of, walk him back to remembering him being good, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that's the key to it all is there is nobody in this range that could be the number one for their team. Outside of a serious injury. Quentin Johnston could be the number one guy for this team without an injury. That's just the first round draft capital in him. It's, bringing in a new system, new coach. So there's that possibility. So I don't hate it. And where are we at? 14th round? If you've got to cut him for a kicker next week, you can completely do that. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So rounding out the teams, I have Anthony Richardson at quarterback, Bijan and Najee at running back, Drake London, Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf, Rashee Rice, and Christian Watson as my receivers, Luke Musgrave and Jaden Daniels as my quarterback and tight end. And then wrapping up my bench, I have Geno, Charbonnet, Hunter Henry, and Marshawn Lloyd. Wow. I'll let you read off your team, but I know people have checked out. They just heard the winning team, but go ahead. We'll humor you.
All right.
Go ahead, Brennan.
So starting from top to bottom, my quarterback is Jaylen Hurts. My running back starting is Ramondre Stevenson and Raheem Mostert. My wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Calvin Ridley, and Brian Thomas filling in those flex spots. My tight end is Evan Ingram. My other quarterback starting right now will be Jared Goff, and my bench is Brian Robinson, Daniel Jones, Taysom Hill, and Quentin Johnston.
So they haven't changed Calvin Ridley's picture yet, so there's a lot of teal between the Jags players and the Miami players you have on your team.
Yes, I know. We're all tealed out over here.
That's not a bad thing. Between that and your Bryans, I think that's really going to hold your team together.
I already found the team name, Brian and Brennen Company.
I like it. I like it. Calling dibs, though. Sorry.
There you go.
All right. Nope. Stop sharing. We'll go back to this one. We'll go do that. Whoo! Well, wasn't that fun? I feel like I'm closing out Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or something like that, We just had a great adventure, everybody, but we've got to get out of here. Before we do, Brennan, tell the folks where you at. Where can they find more of you?
So I'm on the Facebook group page for Fantasy Football Advice Network. You can find me on there. I comment back on a lot of the guys who have questions there. And then I am on Twitter, or X, sorry, my apologies, FFANBMulk. That's where you can find me in most places.
You can find me over there at X as well, at @too_much_Brian, and all over here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. Make sure you're checking out the platform. We did just drop it recently, and we're having so much fun with all the things we're doing over there. We have more shows. We have so much coming at you this offseason and regular season, so stay tuned for your favorite show on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. We'll see y'all later.